Ghanatube Sunye and some air costo ewo on my name. Aha, and I was ever canning now, but for snowy my science of Atanasi. There is some air co ever edge ever, and send a maternal city. Now we will see a quack J and send no edge a bar, I was for a bar, now Matwaswam.
Ben is promising a possible reduction in utility tariffs in the coming months. However, this will be dependent on ongoing efforts to stabilize the city, reduce inflation, and lower the cost of power generation. Key factors that influence the quarterly tariff review. Deputy Minister of Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah, shared this during an interview with Joy Business on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank Spring meetings in Washington, D.C.
With the IMF conditionality, you can't pick and choose and say, okay, I'll go with this one wouldn't go with it. It's a whole compact that has come up with. We are hoping that we will things, and then also with adjustment. It is not always the case that adjustment means that it is going to be upwards adjustment. When the parameters that are used for assessing the adjustment actually also becomes quite stable or improves, there are possibility of also the tariff coming down, and that is what we are committed to, making sure that losses within the system, which invariably probably may be considered in terms of determining the tariff, if those ones are taken out, obviously prices will come down. Two, we also have to look at the factors, the forex effects, which are also in the price build-up. If we are able to also improve upon the city's strength against the international currencies as well, I believe that would also bring in some positive gains, and that can affect the tariff to go down. Now, also in generation, this government is considering, most of our power generations we use for liquid fuels, and now and it's quite expensive. If you look at the budget of liquid fuel, even from now, the third quarter to the end of the year, it is in a range of about $1.2 billion. This government is looking at how best we can get adequate gas, the gas to power the thermals, which is relatively cheaper as compared to the liquid fuel.
Well, joining me with a quick reaction is President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike Jr. Good afternoon to you, sir. So, talk to us about how significantly you are impacted by utility tariffs, and what would change if the tariffs go down?
Much, Daryl. If you look at it from the point where it's been established as well that 6% of your revenue from your customers should be what you go into electricity. And then you have a case where in our system, we are talking about 15% in the past, and now getting to about 20% of your revenue goes into electricity, then it is a very important issue. And we are so much concerned about that. I don't really know where the gentleman you spoke to is coming from, but we are basing our current situation on the 14.5%, which we understand we are going to be slapped on from early May in terms of electricity. So the points which are a bit futuristic, and all things being equal, it will get better. But the reality on the ground now is that our bills are going to go up by average of 14.5. And if you just oppose it with what I indicated earlier on, that almost about 20% of our revenue goes into electricity, then the situation is there.
All right, so that was Richard Jan Mensah. He's the Deputy Energy Minister who spoke to George Afe at the IMF World Bank Spring meetings there. So, I mean, yeah, while it sounds positive, it's dependent on so many things like inflation going down, the city stabilizing, maybe the economy stable. And so how confident are you about seeing these materialize and effectively translating a reduction in utility tariffs?
These are statements that in business you get to hear a lot. Okay, you get to hear a lot. So one moment it's about the exchange rate, another moment it's about the cost of borrowing, another moment about inflation, and it gets a bit frustrating because the bottom line is that we want to reduce the cost of doing business. And in our case, when it comes to the hotels, electricity is a major issue. And we would have expected that from the nature of our business, as we've been saying all over, that we should be insulated in a way from some of these changes in economic indicators, which leads to increased tariffs. We should be insulated. Okay, but if we are not, and we continue to be affected by the slightest change in the economic environment, then we'll always continue to be in trouble. So, yeah, statements are okay, but for us, the reality on the ground is that from early May, 4.5% increase. If nothing changes,
yeah,
to be where we are.
Yeah, and seeing that this government said they were going to create a conducive environment for business, I don't know what the engagements are. Are you engaging them? Are you dialoguing on the burden the utility tariff hikes are going to be on you, and what other reliefs are you seeking? I remember during your press conference, was it last week, you talked about the burden of the utility tariffs as well as the tax burden.
Well, so far, unfortunately, not so good. We have not really communicated directly, except to say that if we are part of the bigger industry picture, which is run by the Association of Ghana Industries. Indeed, the MD of ŊRPISES is a member of that group, and he speaks for the tourism and hospitality industry. We engage with him a lot on that, and he's been bringing some of these issues to the AGI. So indirectly, I would say that our issues get communicated, but not directly. We are yet to meet any direct government official to discuss some of these things, which we are hoping for, including our own minister. We are waiting for the minister to meet us on a lot of these issues, which we talked about. You will call before the her appointment, and then we've also been knocking on her door after her appointment. So we are expecting that she will call us one of these days. So together we see how to address some of these things. I mean, is it not possible to also fix our utility tariffs from the beginning of the year and then make it a bit constant for us? Because this advancing tariffs does not help us at all. And usually it's an upward adjustment. It never goes down, like the minister to say.
Thank you.
Times it goes down, it's far less than times it goes up.
Thank you so much for your time. Tell you what, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope that city stabilizes. Let's hope that inflation goes down, and there's the cost of power generation also goes down. Now, more.
Yeah, kwaje ensem no aba obetimi eja comment comment section down me mejebre na makenkan ni na down mo amodofo Snowy and abetina say ensem no ebrem aha Ghanatube so sisi ade makram.